The following podcast is a TJ DeSantis production. Comments, questions, and inquiries can be sent to DeSantisProd@gmail.com.
Are you talking shift? We are. It's time for the We're Talking Shift podcast. Now. Here to talk shift are your hosts, Loree Bischoff and Candace Parisi. We're Talking Shift.
Hi, I'm Candace Parisi.
And this is Loree Bischoff. Welcome to We're Talking Shift. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about ego management.
Eek. I know a little something about ego management. I went to the grocery store with you today, and I was 100% sure that your ego was on full force, and it needed to be managed.
Well, that is interesting. I don't know that I would have connected grocery shopping with out-of-control ego, but
All
do
right,
share.
let me set this up. And so, get out of the car, and for some reason, Lori's pace starts to get a lot faster. And so now she's almost in a run getting to the grocery store. I tried to give her the small cart. She says, no, I use the big cart. And I was like, okay, all right, use the big cart. I'm going to go use the restroom. And she says, good, I'll meet you over here. And she just changed into this another person. And so she's running toward the produce, and I'm just meandering to the bathroom. I come back, I find her. She's racing around the grocery store. I don't know who she is anymore. And she's trying to get through this aisle to get to the hummus. She needs to get to the hummus. And so I'm chasing behind her. And she goes to this aisle. It's like the bean aisle. This poor lady was standing there kind of in the middle, in an annoying place. I get it. But she is kind of in the middle, like looking at beans. And Lori just speed races like 6 inches from her foot and was like, skirt, and like literally skirt made the sound skirt around this lady. This lady jumps and looks at me, and she's like, holy shit. And I looked at her and I said, that's just Lori. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Well,
and she was filled with rage.
I didn't notice any of that. I didn't see any of that.
Because you were moving so fast. You got to the hummus. I
got my stuff. You know, here's the thing. I do not like grocery shopping. I don't. So I make my list. I try as best I can to put the things that I need in the order that I am going to come upon them in the store, so that I'm not, ping-ponging back and forth.
Right.
And that way I am efficient.
It's organized.
It is organized. I can get in, I can get my stuff, I can get out. And yes, we came down that aisle and, the stock guys had left a couple boxes out on the left side, and that lady was just a little bit beyond them on the right. She was kind of hanging out, way into the middle lane. She was not in her lane. And
she's such a jerk.
I mean, come on, you're not the only one in the store.
Right.
I had a pace going, and I got a thing. I don't like my pace being messed with.
Right.
So
right.
I thought, I timed it. I was like, you know what? I don't have to break my pace, because I think there's just enough room for me to go past those boxes, do like a hard left around her, and then quick shift my cart and get back over into my lane. It's like passing a car on the highway. You get over there and get back.
Yeah.
But my cart, when I scooted the back end over, it made that sound.
This lady jumped up in the air. She thought that something crazy just happened to her, like a bear was chasing her. She looked at me with fear in her eyes. And then I catch up to you. I run after you. And I said, you just freaked that lady out. And you just start busting out laughing.
I don't know why it struck me as funny. I wasn't trying to be mean. I'm minding my business. I'm just doing my thing.
Jeez, yeah.
I just thought, I need to get my hummus. I need to get out of here. I've got stuff to do. And thank you for having my back and apologizing to her. But hey, you know what? People sometimes just need to have a wake-up call.
Sometimes you need to be almost hit by a cart.
Just to feel alive.
Yeah, so you have a story to go home and tell your husband,
right?
Oh, my gosh, honey.
Yeah. I look at the gift I just gave her. Maybe they don't even talk anymore. Now she's got a story to share with him.
Right. Her girlfriends come over and they're drinking wine. And just, today, for me, I almost got hit by a shopping cart.
Drama that happened in my life.
This is the drama.
Some crazy blonde.
Yeah. The best part of all of this is how you left the grocery store to get to your car.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you like that?
Yeah. That's
my reward.
That's not a full grown thing. I haven't seen a full grown person do that in a long time.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's almost like only a 10-year-old thing to do.
All right, we'll go back tomorrow, and you can have a run at it.
Well,
We'll give you a go at the car.
Yeah, so she jumps up on it like a kid and just rides it all the way to the car down the hill.
Yeah, it's a slight decline, as to the truck. So when I can, I that's my fun reward for getting through the store, and I just jump on it and ride it to the truck and have a little fun.
It was a victory ride for scaring the shit out of somebody.
Totally victory ride. Oh yeah, but look how much fun! It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. I love going to the grocery store with you now. I'm going to from now on. This is amazing.
And look how fast we got through that list.
Yeah, it's like 7 minutes in and out.
Right?
Yep, changing lives.
Changing lives as we go down every aisle.
Speaking of changing lives.
Yeah, so changing lives. There is a guy named Jay Shetty.
Jay Shetty. He's a guy with, he's the blue eyes, and he's a monk. Is that what he's up to?
Yeah,
I don't know a lot about this guy.
He's like, he's changing lives, and yes, blue eyes. Interesting. You are all not sure what he does, but you do know that he has blue eyes.
Yeah,
so
I picked that up.
Just note to self. So, he lived as a monk for about 3 years. And after, he did all of the things monks do. I mean, he shaved his
He didn't
head.
get the graduation, though. It's like a 4-year thing.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
We'll have to investigate.
I'll call him.
But you do that. And I'm sure if you compliment him, he will give you all the information that you
He
would
is
like to know.
very handsome. You showed me a picture. I don't know the guy, but you showed me a picture, and I was like,
Yeah.
that is a hot monk.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's not bad. Hot monk.
That's a hot piece of monk.
Oh, God. Somehow, okay, I'm just going to go on from that.
Yeah, please.
So, so he lived as a monk for 3 years doing all of the things that monks do. He shaved his head, he wore the robes, he meditated, he did philanthropic stuff and built, lived in an ashram and built, habitats for people and just all the good stuff, right?
What a great guy.
Yeah, and then he transitioned back into regular society, and he realized that all of the insights that he learned as a monk could be applied to help businesses and everyone. So now he's like a social media superstar, and he's a coach and all this other great stuff. But the reason I bring that up is because there was a post that I saw that he had put on Twitter, I think it was, and really resonated with me. It's titled "Ego Traps."
I don't like it.
So I thought that would be an interesting thing to talk about, one of those bullet points on there, since we were going to talk a little bit about ego management today.
Yeah, which one are you going to pick?
This was like fit in perfectly to our topic. So I think there's one on here that kind of includes a whole bunch of things that fall into the areas that we roam around in, right? So we're not going to read them all, but there's this one. It says, if you think it is more spiritual to do yoga, become a vegan, buy organic, buy healing crystals, practice Reiki, meditate, wear hippie/thrift shop clothing, visit ashrams, and read enlightened spiritual books, but then you judge anyone who doesn't do those things, you're in an ego trap.
I love Jay even more. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I agree with you, Jay. I think that it is very, very trapping, especially in the spiritual community, and that people, they start to feel better about themselves. They do something for themselves that makes them feel good, and then their next step is to try to convert, right? Is to try to say, you're not good enough. Let me make you like me so that you're good enough.
Yes.
It's bananas.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I think that there's a lot of good intentions around that.
Sure.
Because it's like when you find anything that makes your life better in some way, that makes you feel like you've, overcome a challenge or conquered something, or you're just feeling like you've grown, somehow you feel better or happier. And naturally, a lot of us want to share that with other people that we think that would have the same effect for them. Oh, so there's you should do this, you should do fill in the blank, and then you will be on the right track too.
Yeah, and that's where the ego gets sneaky, right?
Yes.
Because you're doing something that is so experience-based, which is in the moment, and you just feel so fucking good, and then you twist it up in your mind, and you start to build a plan about how you need to, one, feel it again the same way, and two, help other people to feel how you feel. People are happy in the way that they become happy. We don't get to all be happy the same way. So you thinking that you can just throw up something on me and it's going to make me feel the way that you feel, it doesn't work like that, I don't think.
No. Clearly, everyone has their own, everyone's in their own, part of their journey. They're at their own place, and they're getting to where they're going in their own time through their own experience. And I mean, every now and then you might have somebody that says, oh, that's really interesting. That is appealing to me. I'll give that a try. Thank you. But a lot of times what happens is you make somebody else feel somehow like they are, like they're not quite good enough, what they're doing right now. They're on the wrong path. And you are acting a little bit like you're a little more enlightened now, then so they actually could be a little resentful.
Yeah, absolutely. And a perfect example of that is there was this time where I joined a cult.
Ooh, a cult.
A cult. I study people. I really like to watch people and see why they believe what they believe.
Yes.
It's fascinating to me, as you know.
Yeah.
And there was this old woman who, from New Jersey. I won't say her name because I don't want to put her out there because she's still out there in the world doing her business. Mm-hmm. But she had a compound.
Okay.
In Florida. And where people from all over the world came and lived there and worshipped her.
So I wonder how many old ladies from New Jersey have a compound in Florida. So don't say her name because you don't want to.
Yeah.
Probably a lot.
Yeah. She has a fun spiritual name, and so I was so fascinated by this woman. I was like, all right, forget it. I'm gonna fly down to Florida and join a cult. I need to figure out why these people show up in her life and think that she is the answer. And so went down there. Took me a while to get in. They were very skeptical of me. But finally they let me in. I'm a sweet girl. And so they let
Was
me
there
in.
like some sort of like test that you had to pass?
Yeah, I had to do some meditating and like I had to prove myself in some silly ways.
Like
and
levitate and stuff.
I didn't levitate. Yeah, I wish if I went there and I started levitating, then she would be my guru. Like, it would be done. Like, that would be amazing.
Then
but that did not happen.
Maybe you would have been everybody's guru.
Right.
Did you see her levitating?
Fuck no, I didn't. And so I got there, and she's this tiny little scratchy voiced old lady, and there's people there from Harvard, graduated from Stanford, smart fuckers there, living there, worshiping this woman. It took me months and months and months to try to figure this out. I just showed up every day, and I was like, what is this? And so one day we were at a cult dinner. We all ate dinner together, and it was a delicious little cult dinner. And
should I ask what was being served?
I think it was Thanksgiving. I think I spent Thanksgiving or some sort of like big. There was turkey.
Okay, turkey.
Yeah,
Thank
you can't have a cult without turkey. And so
I always wondered.
Yeah, now you know if you're in a room full of turkey, you know you're in a cult. So one of her people walked over to me and they were like, she would like to meet you. And I was like, thank you. God, thank you. I need to figure this lady out. So they brought me over and had me kneel in front of her. Wouldn't let me look her in the eyes.
What?
Of course, because why would you, right? And then she gave me this big hug, and she said, "Oh, Candace, ah!" And she like gave me this gigantic hug, and the whole room just stopped eating, because apparently she doesn't touch people, and she's like, "Oh, Candace," and it was just like being hugged by my grandmother. Like, I didn't transform into this amazing light being, but the whole room was like, "Oh shit." And so I went back and I sat at the table, and the people at the table were like, "How do you feel? Like, how do you feel?" And they were so passionate about what they believe. And I didn't want to break their hearts. So I was like, it was great. Like, it was so good. It was so good. I mean, you've invested your life in this. It was good. And then I got in my car and I left. I mean, I ate turkey. I ate all the turkey.
You ate turkey
yeah,
first.
It was a free meal. I'm not going to fucking pass up a free cult meal.
You had to pay 4 months.
Yeah.
You earned that.
Yeah,
turkey.
I earned that turkey. So I had seconds, and then I left.
Then you packed up.
And I packed up. And it was.
But you didn't burst anybody's bubble. That was
No
it was very
way.
kind of you.
No way. People
kind.
believe what they believe, and that woman made them happy. But it didn't make sense to me. But in hindsight, I can see that she was very motherly. And these were people who were probably looking for a mom. And she was very loving and kind. And she said nice things. And everybody's looking for somebody, to love them. And she did a really good job at that. So I get it. But the whole thing was, why are you searching outside of yourself for stuff? And is this like a big ego trap, like Shetty says?
Right.
Is it an ego trap to, buy in to needing to be a part of a cult? Why do you need to do all of that? Why isn't it all inside of you? Anytime anybody is like, it's over there, like, why isn't it inside of you only?
Yeah, but that's really common, though. Most people that are feeling like there's something missing, they're looking for it out there.
Right.
And so whether it's, community and connection, or their purpose, or their passion, or their what's my life all about? What does this all mean? And the tendency is to think that they need to go over there, or to that person, or do that thing in order to find the answers, or to find themselves, or whatever. And you know what? For some people, maybe that does work. Maybe that is part of the process, and it helps them get there. Maybe it does. I'm like you. I'm a firm believer that everything is within.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's right there. But sometimes people do need some help to discover that, to find it within, some guidance. I get that. But I think, like the trap there, for example, that I'm wondering about is how many of those people then ultimately left, and then did they fall into the ego trap of feeling like now that they've been there and now that they've done that, they are more enlightened.
More enlightened than anybody else. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, probably. I think it was an elitist community of people who were better than other people. And so, yeah, the whole purpose was to go back out into the world and preach it. And that's the kind of, any religion, but, not to knock on religion, because it works for people. It's definitely like people want to belong to things and they want to feel good. Mm-hmm. It's just not for everybody.
Yeah, that's the trap, another. There's so many, but that's another one for sure. Thinking that thing that works so well for you is now the thing that everyone should be doing. So I had just a teeny tiny taste of that when I went. It was about maybe 10 years ago now. I went to a workshop in Ashland, Oregon, where the author of all of the Conversations with God books lives, Neil Donald Walsh.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Yeah. We've talked about him before, and his writings are they're phenomenal, and I think that they're wonderful. I love everything that he's ever written. And so I thought it would be really a great experience to go to this small, intimate workshop and spend a couple of days with him in person, learning. And it was great. But there was this one point where we were all on an afternoon break or something. And there was a lovely couple, a man and a wife, and you could tell by the things that they were saying that this was all still very new for them, the whole concept. They were new to the writings and just newbies. And they were very enthralled with all of it, which was wonderful. It was clearly having some life-transforming effect on them. And so we were chatting, and they said something to the effect of, don't you wish that everybody would think like this and read this and move through life this way?
Oh boy.
It was something to that effect. And and right then I thought, oh, that's a dangerous way to think.
Yeah.
That's not, even though I love this and you love this, but it's not, but as well-intentioned as you sound, and in your heart you think that would be a really wonderful thing, but that's the trap right there, thinking that just because this is wonderful and fulfilling for you and is helping you feel good about your life experience does not at all mean that everyone else is going to receive it that way, or that they should do this as well. That's the should. You should.
Yeah, somebody else could walk into that room not having an experience at all. And then what, are they bad?
Not connect. Right.
Not connect, but maybe something else completely different helps them connect. It's very individual.
Yeah.
And it's hard to group people into the idea that everything is, she had an authentic feeling. She was like, oh, this is great. And then as soon as that happened, her brain's like, how can I get some people in here to really feel this too? And everybody's not going to feel that way. Everybody's not going to feel as good as she did for that reason. Some people need to hike a mountain for that shit, or drink a really good cup of coffee, or
yeah, exactly. There are, well, as many people as there are on the planet. That's how many different ways there are for us to find the thing that fills us up, to find the thing that makes us feel like we are okay with our life experience. And as soon as though you start thinking that that's what everyone should do, now you're falling into that ego trap of feeling like maybe you're a little more enlightened than the next person, or a little bit of moral superiority.
Right.
Tricky.
It's tricky. The ego's tricky.
It is.
It's tricky.
It's sly. It's tricky. But I think it's time to move into our Dear Shift Doctor segment.
Dear Shift Doctors.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm a doctor. I'm a shift doctor. And so I'm always ready. I'm on duty.
Now we are shift doctors. And so, yes, people submit their questions to us, and we give them an answer. So,
you got a question?
We do.
Something come in?
We do. We have one from Kurt from Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
So let me read it. Kurt says, so I have a question for you shift doctors. I've been in a relationship with my boyfriend, Steven, for 3.5 years. I want to get married, and I'm starting to doubt that Steven does, even though he says he does. But every time I bring the subject up and say, let's set a date and start planning, he has an excuse to not have time to talk about it, or he changes the subject. I'm worried that he's getting cold feet. And I want to know how to get him to talk and to tell me how he really feels. What would you suggest I try?
Okay.
You want to take a crack at this first?
Yeah, sure. So, Kurt. So, Steven might be telling you without telling you that he's uncomfortable with being married. A lot of people don't communicate with words because they don't want to hurt your feelings, or they don't want to push you away, or they want you to feel okay. And so you can always pay attention to somebody's actions. And if he's not running to the altar with you, if he's not putting in that effort, then maybe he just doesn't want to. And then you have to figure out what you feel around that. It's like being with somebody who doesn't want to have kids, but you do. You got to make a decision. And so if it means that much to you, do you still want to be with him?
Yeah. What would happen if he just doesn't want to get married, but he still wants to have the relationship? can you be okay with that? There's one scenario.
Right.
There's a scenario around, well, does he, maybe he's just feeling things are moving too fast and he's just not comfortable and he just needs a little more time. So he's afraid, though, to bring it up. Maybe you have a pattern. How do you usually react when he tells you something that you're not excited about? Do you have a meltdown? Do you go ballistic? You know, or do you
that's a
go
good
all
point.
do you go all drama crazy on him and make him feel like, oh my God, I just can't deal with this, so I'd rather not say anything.
Yeah, he shuts down because he feels manipulated by what you want and what you feel. You push him around with it. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, it's hard for people to be honest with their partner when they've had the experience that if they are, it's always going to be bad. There's it's not going to be accepted. It's not going to be taken well. So rather than be honest, because it doesn't seem like it's ever going to be okay to be honest, so I'll just be quiet.
Yeah, it's bullying, really.
It's in a manipulative way.
Yeah.
It is.
And I think that when you have your person, you feel like you have range to do kind of whatever you want. And so the other person could be shutting down. My suggestion is to just go on the honeymoon and enjoy each other's company. If you love this person, this is a person you want to spend the rest of your life with, then reevaluate if the piece of paper is important to you and how important it is to you. But why not take it the pace that it's supposed to be? If this is the love of your life, I'm sure that you have to compromise and he has to compromise, and it's in figuring out how to move through life together. Relationships are hard.
Yeah, communication, though, is really, not to sound cliche, but it's key. You have got to figure out how you can feel comfortable communicating with each other. So I think it's really important that you find a way to do that. And maybe it is asking him. Maybe it's an invitation and an agreement. Can we agree to just have a talk about this? And I promise that I'm not going to overreact and I'm not going to judge what you have to say, and you can feel free to be honest. And whatever it is, we're going to work through it together. And hey, I love Candace's suggestion about why don't we just skip the whole thing, the planning and all that for now. Let's just go have a honeymoon and have fun and see what comes of it. But make it okay for your partner. Make them so comfortable and feeling so okay that they can share something with you that they feel might hurt your feelings or be uncomfortable, because you'd rather know that than be roaming around in the dark and not knowing what they're thinking.
Yeah, I agree. I hope that helped you out, Kurt. You already live in paradise, so I don't know where you're going to be in Hawaii there. I don't know where you're going on vacation or your honeymoon, but just go.
Yeah.
Alaska.
There you
Yeah, you're going to Alaska.
Try that.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, my intuitive friend says Alaska is the place for you.
Go see some whales in Alaska.
Yeah, I'd listen to that. Don't take that lightly.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kurt, for giving us your question. If anybody else has any questions anytime about anything, please ask us. We would love to answer them on the show. You would go to we'retalkingshiftpodcast.com.
Yeah, just submit it there, and we'll get it. So, shift gift takeaway today.
Yeah, what's the takeaway today?
Yeah, so...
Here's what I would say.
Okay.
The takeaway today is, people, you're going to make changes in your life, and they're going to make you feel really good. But don't assume that it's going to make the next person feel good. Another person's way of feeling great and happy and loved and held in life is not your way. And so it's in paying attention to allowing other people to find their own way.
Yes. You want to make sure that you are not inadvertently making someone feel inferior, or that you're trying to tell them that you feel like you're a little bit more enlightened and you can show them the way. So just be mindful of that.
That's a great takeaway.
Perfect.
Good.
All right. So thank you for listening to us. We love having you jump on over to iTunes and give us a rating if you would, and give us some comments. We love to hear your feedback. And also, head on over to patreon.com/Talkin' Shift and check out our Give a Buck movement. We know that is something that is really getting pretty exciting for a lot of people.
Yeah, sure is. And we're all over the internet, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So check us out on social media. Come by, say hi, and go out there and make shift happen.
You too, Gary V.
The preceding podcast was a TJ DeSantis production. Comments, questions, and inquiries can be directed to DeSantisProd@gmail.com.